Oh, this is gonna be fun. Let's see. Let's see what we got.
Hey everyone, it's Kara Dixon with Candid with Kara, and we are virtual because we are in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. So usually we would go out and meet with candidates to follow them along as they do their favorite activity, but we can't do that because we are following social distancing. So instead, we are interviewing the candidates through Zoom, and today we are joined with Madison Downs. How are you doing?
How's everybody doing today?
All right, and Madison, what are you running for?
I'm running for Congress in the 3rd District of Virginia.
Okay, and who is Madison? How would you describe yourself to people that don't know you?
Well, Madison is a native of the area. Madison is a guy whose family came up rough, moved around quite a bit in the Tidewater area. Went to school from Dozier to Denby to Hampton to Kellam to Salem, back to Hampton. Families entrenched in the area. My bloodline is tied to the land. Joined the Marine Corps at 17. Got out of the Marine Corps, went to college, went back in the Army, worked as a chaplain. Basically spent my entire adult life helping others. Started a not-for-profit to help people out, things like that. So basically a guy who really enjoys helping people out and is really good at it.
All right, and what made you want to run? Like, what was the moment that you're just like, I don't remember.
I've been being asked to run. I've been being asked to run for office, I want to say for the last 5 years from, just people in the area. And, I have 2 daughters and they were both young. My oldest now is in college and my youngest is a junior. So, people just kept asking. They were talking about the problems that they were having in the area, how they weren't getting the help that they needed and things like that. And I have a really good history of helping people out. Been really successful, whether it be helping them out in court or helping them out fight against municipalities, just disenfranchised people, the forgotten people who can't afford advocacy. And, they kept on and kept asking. And I said, you know what? I think I can do this. I think I'll go ahead and give it a shot. And I know I'm good at what I do. And I'll see if I can help out the best way I can.
Okay, first question. What is the biggest issue the U.S. is facing right now?
Oh, definitely erosion of the Constitution. We have the erosion of the Constitution. There's the destruction of small businesses, decline in the education system, and probably the erosion of the family. So those are the big 4. You add on abortion, there's something like 19 point something, 20 million just Black children that are aborted every year. So those are pretty much the largest issues that we need to work on right now. All right. Especially as it pertains to our area.
Well, this next question is just like that one, but it is, what is the biggest issue Virginia is facing right now?
Tyrannical government. We have government officials that don't honor their oath, basically codes and statutes that directly violate our constitutional rights. We have the erosion of the Virginia Constitution. We have the erosion as a result of government officials deciding what is essential and what is not essential, small businesses being lost while big corp and banks are being bailed out, and a school system that's not student-centered. What I mean by that is a school system that basically doesn't cater to what students need, trades, things of that nature, VOTEC, school choice.
All right. Next question. If you're elected, what do you hope to accomplish?
I plan on restoring the Constitution. What I mean by that is I'd like to legislate something that says that any legislator that sponsors a bill or votes for a bill that directly violates the Constitution, that legislator needs to be put under investigation and potentially tried for the crime of treason. I'd like to create a more robust economy by bringing in new industry. I'd like to fund schools that actually are more school-centered. What I mean by that is fund schools that will have VOTEC in every high school, and also promote school choice. So, yeah.
All right. Next question. What can Virginia residents what can residents do to make Virginia a better place to live?
Get involved. Go to your city council meetings, your school board meetings, your PTO meetings. Get to know the people who are making the decisions. Get to know what their thought process is. Invite them over to your home. Even if you can't make it to a meeting, the same way we have HOA meetings and things of that nature, send a representative and have that person be able to email what was going on. Just be involved. Because when you're not involved, then people begin to make decisions without you knowing what decisions were made until it's too late, and that's pretty much what's happening now in Virginia. I can remember back in January, I pretty much predicted everything that's happening right now with the violations in the codes and statutes right in front of the Norfolk City Council. And people were pretty much sleeping on, the goings-ons. So just be involved.
All right. The next question, a lot easier than the last four. What is your favorite book?
The Alchemist, probably. That's the most enjoyable book I think I've ever read. It's about a young man, a young shepherd boy who basically goes on this huge adventure. And throughout his adventures, he learns more about himself. And, there's like the wind, the sun, and the environment. They all have spirits, and they're talking to him. And, as he goes through these trials and tribulations, and in the end, he finds out who he is. And really, after it's all over, he goes out on this long journey, on this long adventure, and then he ends up right back at home. So, yeah.
I feel bad because I pride myself on being an avid reader, but I don't read the classics. So I know what The Alchemist is. I just have never read it. But yeah.
No, I picked the book up. I remember just being bored and I'm a theologian, so it kind of borderlined, theology in there, so, I picked it up and really into adventure type books. And once I started reading, just, it was a quick read, but it was really, really interesting.
All right. Next question. If you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why?
I think that's the hardest question you asked me. That's the toughest question. I think, because of my belief system, I believe that, I'll meet everybody. I'll get an opportunity to meet everybody in the by and by. But if there was one individual that I think that I'd want to meet, it would not be a famous person. I think it would be someone that I met once before but didn't know it, and that's probably my grandfather, Madison Bird. He's just got this, he's one of the first African Americans who was a manager at the shipyard right there at Newport News, and he was such a pioneer in our family. So I'd like to sit down, talk with him, and really learn and hear about his stories. So, yeah.
You're the first person to not say a historical figure, so.
Thanks.
With Kara first. All right. And
won't be the last first, hopefully.
The last question.
Sure. What
did you think you were going to be when you grew up?
I can honestly say probably everything that I've accomplished. I think, and that changes over time. When I was a young boy, I wanted to, make it to the NFL. And, I did that. But, as I got older and even in college, I decided that maybe I wanted to be, in the military. I did that with the Marine Corps and then in the Army. I wanted to help people. And that's pretty much all I do now. So, I think it changes. And in a lot of ways, it's as we continue to grow and mature, there's still that little boy inside of all of us that says that, I want to do more. I want to, be more. Uh, and so now I want to be in a position where I can make a difference in more people's lives, a positive impact. I want my universe to impact other people's universe in a positive way. And I believe that I've been gifted with a set of skills to help people, and that's what I intend to do. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it does.
All
All right.
right.
So is there anything like you're passionate about, or do you have any hobbies or anything, or?
Yeah. Let me see. Well, I'm the only guy in my house. I've been married for 23 years to the same lady, and I got two daughters, and I have a pooch, a chocolate lab, and so I get a bunch of hugs and kisses, but I get licked the most, and that's my buddy. Her name is Harley. So I like to ride Harleys, smoke cigars, and I'm really a homebody, just hanging out with the family, when I'm not helping people.
So you've actually probably had a decent time staying home with all this since you're a homebody.
Oh, it's been a blessing to me. And I'll tell you why. I drive at least 2.5 hours one way to get to work every day. So I'm on the road probably 6 hours a day and then working on top of that. And, I'm a special education teacher. And I teach in Southeast DC, in the areas where they need me. And so that 6 hours plus work plus campaigning, I didn't get to see my family a lot. So, now, I get to get all the hugs and kisses. I get to get spoiled now. So I'm loving it. They can't get away either. So I got them. They can't go anywhere. So if I want to tickle them to death, and they can't do anything. They can't go anywhere. I got them.
Is your dog right there?
Do you want to? Yeah, you want to see her?
Yes.
Harley,
Adrian would kill me if I didn't make you show us the dog.
Tell me, baby. I got my baby girl right there. Can you see her?
Hi, Harley.
Yeah. This is Harley. Mwah. Yeah, and she gives hugs. Let me see if I can turn this down. Come here. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Yeah. Give me a hug. Oh, she's showing off now. Okay. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, this is my baby. And she comes to school with me sometimes. All the kids love her, and yeah, she's just a lovable little thing. When I went to get her, she actually crawled into my lap and didn't move. And I bought her from the puppy shop, and literally the owners, they said, just take her home. Don't even worry about paying for her. Just come back and pay. They just trusted me. Like they said, come back and pay for her later. So I took her home. Oh, here's a fun fact. So I'm an animal guy. That's and so I'll send you a picture. So I brought her home. The most exotic animal that I ever brought home was a goose. So I'm on my way to the cigar shop, and there's this goose running across the parking lot. So I jump out of my truck. The goose runs up to me and starts pecking on my leg. Little did I know it was a little gangster goose, apparently, because somebody had called the police on it. And I got the pictures. People were taking pictures of all this. So the animal cops come, and it was this short lady, this short animal cop. And she pulled out this net, and the net was bigger than her. All right. And so she started chasing the goose around. The goose was waddling, all over the place, all over the place. So it goes down the hill, then it comes back up, and she catches it, and and she puts it in the back of the truck. I said, what are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with the goose? He said, well, we're gonna have to put it down. Apparently, they said the goose is biting, but they don't have teeth, so they peck at you, Mm-hmm. And so I said, well, don't kill it, can I have it? And so they gave me the goose, and she jumped in the truck. We come home, and when I get home, I had the sneaker in. Right, I had a sneaker in the house. So we're in the kitchen, and I'm feeding her oatmeal and some cornstarch or whatever. I don't know, just trying to get her fat. So then my wife came in with the girls, and it was a female goose, and they're territorial.
Yeah.
So when the goose loved me, but as soon as she saw my wife, she must have knew. So she stuck up and went in and started pecking. And so she's chasing my wife around the island and around the house.
I get that because when I was like, I think I was like 4 or 5, my
right.
dad took me to the park.
Yeah.
So we're like out there, like looking at the ducks and stuff. And like our family friend had like happened to drive by and was talking to us. All of a sudden this goose comes like running across the street. And my dad, my dad's like 6'5". He picks me up and he's like running around the car and this goose is chasing us. And I'm like,
oh yeah,
what did we do? We were just minding our business.
Well, what's funny about it is like it was just like a dog. Yeah, I take it out for walks, around the yard, and the dog and the goose would be right by my side, and and anybody who came up close to the garage and there was a best alarm.
Did you name her?
Freddie. Freddie. I named her Freddie, and she gave great hugs.
Oh, so not your wife.
Well, I can send you some pictures of her giving me hugs and stuff like that. I'll email it to you. But yeah. So animals huge. Probably if I ever was gonna do anything different, I'd be a vet.
Yeah. So why should people vote for you? Like what makes you stand out? What's so different about Madison?
Well, for one, I'm the only candidate aside from Mr. Scott that's a native. Number two, I have a history of fighting for people and winning, and what's happened in our area is people have become so disenfranchised and marginalized by policies, and opportunities have been taken away from us, from the VOTEC that would allow people to go out and get earn a livable wage, as opposed to being put in a position where they have to depend on the government and minimum wage. From that to new industry coming in, new jobs. Over the years, even during the Obama era, we waned behind the wages and unemployment. So me and my team have plans, and we have been sharing our plans with stakeholders in the area. And we're looking forward to implementing these plans, creating new opportunities, even new school systems that will bring in anywhere from almost $760 million a year and new jobs. Green coal, where we are cleaning up the environment and bringing in a new industry and creating new jobs. Creating a system where we have school choice, just opportunities that have been taken from us. Nobody else knows the people like I do. And nobody else can say, and this is probably to include Mr. Scott, nobody's helped people out like I have. So that's the reason why. People need somebody who's going to fight for them and make sure that they are not disenfranchised, to make sure that their constitutional rights aren't infringed upon, to fight to make sure that their small businesses stay open. And when they go and they give these stimulus packages and they forget about the little guy, where's the congressman to say, hey, that's not right? We need to stop bailing out the big companies. There's no big company that's too big to fail. If there's a small company that's not too small to fail, it should be even there. So we need people who will go to Washington to give the people a voice, and that's what I'll do.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Cam.
I enjoyed your goose story.
Yeah, I'll make sure I send you those pictures. You'll love it. But now she's living her best life on a farm.
Oh, so she's still alive.
She left me for a duck.
Okay.
Yeah. She left me for a duck. That's true. It's a true story. That's what she did.
Oh,
I
well,
felt used.
happily ever after.
Yeah. I felt used.
You did all that for her, and she was like,
All that. She just left me.
she was like, deuces.
That's right.
You're like, I saved your life. Ready?
Little feathers. Yeah. Yep. That's right. True story. All of it's a true story. That's honest.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me,
You
Kim.
had the most entertaining story.
Yeah, I'm sure I do. That